Oh, I wish there was some kind of vodka in here. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far and welcome to today's video, the most uncomfortable for me of the year. It's my 10 worst products of 2022, my least enjoyed products, the worst products I tried this year. Take a deep breath and let's get started. Okay, so first up, we're starting off with Suku's foundation. This is, what is it even called? I've just blocked it from my memory. The liquid foundation. I mean, okay, I guess I can't argue with that. It is in fact a liquid foundation. So what I didn't love about this foundation, one, it's incredibly expensive, very, very expensive foundation. It will set you back 71 English pounds. Ouch. Now, it's not necessarily that I have higher expectations with a higher price tag. That's not necessarily always the case. But I do expect to have some kind of value for money. So when I see a price tag that, let's face it, is like twice as much as a sort of mid-range foundation, I do expect there to be something there to justify that price tag. Now the packaging is beautiful. I love the bottle. So there's a few pounds in there. Sure, I'll give you a few pounds for this glorious, beautiful glass bottle. But that's where it ends, okay? I want the rest of my pounds back because this claims to be a veil of luminosity that lasts all day long. Lightweight, infused with light reflecting technology and hydrating hyaluronic acid. Okay. So when I first applied this, I was like, okay, it's looking decent. It's looking glowy. It's looking luminous. It's looking good. I kid you not. By the time I'd finished my makeup, I hated it. I don't know what happened in the 10-15 minutes between it touching my skin to the next hour, but it did not look good, okay? It aged me horrifyingly. It was separating, it was just clinging to every line, partial bit of texture, anything that it could find to humiliate me is how I felt. It looked awful. It was not flattering. And I'd say one of the worst wearing foundations that I've ever experienced, 3 to 4 hours that it looked, I mean, it never really looked good other than the first second it touched my skin. It was downhill from there pretty much. But I would say it actually started wearing off after 3 or 4 hours. So not a good experience for me. I'll put it that way. 70 of my English pounds in the bin. However, hopefully I saved some of you 70 English pounds. That will make me feel slightly better. After all, that's what I'm here for, you know. Next up, let's talk about an eyeshadow palette that was largely disappointing to me this year. It's Tom Ford's Tiger Eye palette. I don't think I've touched this since I got it. It's got hard pan on it somehow, and I don't even know how it could have got hard pan when I've literally used it one time. I very much liked this color story and was excited to try it, but then when I put it on, literally only one of these shades has really any pigmentation to it whatsoever. The rest in the pan look pretty and the premise of them is delightful, but I can't see them. There's just no impact, there's no shimmer, there's no light and shade, there's no pigmentation to be found, you know? And again, this is an expensive eyeshadow palette. I want to get something for my money. I don't want to be able to barely see it, you know, for 60 odd English pounds. I don't want to not be able to see you, you know? I can have invisible eyeshadow for free, you know? So a complete fail for me. Starting to think that Tom Ford eyeshadow is just not for me. I don't understand it. Next up, I don't know that we'll call this a foundation because I don't really, to this day, understand what it is, but it's the Chanel Le Beige Water Fresh Complexion Touch. It's this tiny little bottle of nothing. That's what this is. So I do agree with the claims that this is very lightweight and hydrating and fresh feeling on the skin. It does feel very nice, like water, as you might expect from the name. That's about the most positive thing I have to say about it. This is claimed to have 3 times the amount of pigment to their original Water Fresh, which I way prefer, in case you thought this was a Chanel hate video, which kind of a lot of it is, I'll be honest with you. But I do love the original Water Fresh. We should have stuck with that one. This one I feel like getting like 20, what is the fill? 20 mils in here for £51. Like, that's really stingy. Double it for a start. Double it, okay? That's not enough. 20 mils, outrageous. The shades are awful and annoying, and so therefore I ended up with one that didn't work for me very well. But the thing with this is it just wasn't flattering on my skin. It, like I said, it went on and felt nice on my face, but it really was giving me nothing as far as coverage or evening my skin tone. And it was, again, very unflattering on texture, lines, just didn't like the way it sat in the muzzle zone, you know, that one, the bit where all of the drama and the problems occur. This area looked awful. I didn't like it. And given that it wasn't really giving me much coverage, how dare you give me that many problems? You know, if you're just going to give me nothing, then at least like don't make everything look worse. Do you know what I mean? I was better off with like nothing on my skin than this. For £50, it's going to last me about a week if I used it like every day. So no, thank you. So as I said, in case you thought I was like coming for solely Chanel in this video, I'm also coming for my favourite brand, or one of my favourite brands of all time, Charlotte Tilbury. So just know that like my slander and venom is not reserved for specific brands, okay? I will take anyone down. These matte eyes to mesmerise should have been left in the boardroom, in my opinion. I feel like, oh my God, I just stuck my finger in here, and I haven't used these obviously since the first couple of times, and it is now completely dry and crusty. So that's an extra delight. These had such promise for me, just a description of what they were going to be. This is nude cashmere, by the way, so you're not really going to see a whole lot because it is like the nude shade. Maybe you can just see it there just slightly. I thought this shade was going to be a wonderful eye primer or like a nude to kind of get rid of discoloration on the eye. It was going to be a perfect like lid shade for those natural days. It was not. This shade in particular was it's so thick. It's so hard to apply like lightly. And even then it's really thick and it feels it. It doesn't just look thick, it feels thick. It feels like maybe you aren't going to be able to open your eyes soon because they're going to be so weighed down. And that doesn't really help with things like creases and lines and hoods. So that was bad. Like the other shades, I mean, I feel like I got very lucky in my review because I did a decent job with them and they did decently-ish. I feel like I had the best experience that first time of anyone ever with these. I feel like everybody hates them. They're very dry, they're very thick, they're heavy, and let me tell you, despite having like not been opened, this is even drier than we thought it could possibly be at this stage. So I just feel like these were like a nice idea, really poorly executed, and they could have been done so much better. I'm sure of it. I'm sure we could have done better. I don't know what happened. I'm 100% sure they'll be discontinued very quickly, and Charlotte Tilbury will enjoy forgetting that this ever happened because not their finest hour. Next up, let's talk about the Lancôme Louis Hypnose Mascara. So this was another one where like my expectations were dashed. Hopes and dreams were dashed, okay? Again, I really thought I was going to love this. It was very expensive, £32. Even for like a high-end luxury mascara, that's a lot of money. Okay, so I was expecting something wonderful, and then the packaging, I don't unfortunately have it anymore because obviously it's long expired and gone in the bin, but the glass mascara bottle, beautiful, very luxurious, love, 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 love. And then I used it and it just gave me nothing. There was just no drama, no volume, no length, no separation. There was just nothing for me to love. But I will appreciate a mascara that might not be my taste, okay, but I can understand who this would work for. You know, maybe it's giving you no volume and it's not so dramatic, but it's giving you really pretty separated length, fluttery lashes. I can appreciate that. This, I was like, I don't know who's picking this on and loving it, because it just gave me nothing. It gave me very little to work with, very little to love, and I did not, and I was sadly disappointed. 32 English pounds in the bin, and a disappointing experience all around. But we're back to Chanel. I feel like I had a lot of Chanel fails this year, a lot. So that's making me consider my choices. Luckily, I had some really big wins from the brand, so they've kind of redeemed themselves. They're still on my list of brands that I will consider purchasing from, okay? They haven't completely fallen off because they had some hits, but they definitely also had some misses. Another of their misses was Tweed Perp. So this is one of their tweed eyeshadows from eyeshadow palettes from their Tweed collection, which really didn't sell out as quickly as we all thought it was going to. We all thought this was selling out like overnight. I think they're all basically still available. So this one is by far the worst of the bunch. I would say that I loved one, I liked a couple, and I did not like this one. This one, the colour story is really up my street. These sort of more dusky, smoky, purpley mauves, right up my street, but there's just nothing happening here. There's not enough light and shade, almost like all of the shades look the same for a start. And not just like in the colours, like the colour story, these are all too close. So you've got nothing, like it's like, where do you even put, how do you get depth? How do you get light? There's also just nothing happening between the formulas. They're all like basically a satin. This one's got slightly more shine than the others, but again, there's no light and shade, there's no like drama, there's no matte and shimmer, there's just no variation. So you really are just going to get what looks like one shade on the eye. Very hard to get a look that looks like a look, you know? That for me was the worst one from that collection by some way, and just not a great experience for me. Disappointing, given that I loved the colour story. We're diving back into Charlotte Tilbury again. I guess the thing is, I tried a lot of Charlotte Tilbury this year, so there were bound to be some products that just weren't for me. Same thing with Chanel. I think that's why this video is a bit Charlotte Tilbury / Chanel heavy. And I think the reason is I just tried a lot from those two brands this year, and therefore, you know, there were gonna be some misses, some fails. Okay, and this was a really surprising fail for me. These split pan highlighters. These are the Pillow Talk, the Multi Glow highlighters. They came in 2 different shades along with her Pillow Talk Dreams. That was that whole launch. I was so shocked that I was disappointed by these and I didn't love them, because I don't think I've ever not loved, and not just liked, but not loved a Charlotte Tilbury highlighter before. I always love them. I always do. They're always right up my street. This one was just too chunky, too glittery, and I struggled with the shade. I mean, you can see even now, like in my real winter skin tone, this is quite light. This was a swirl across all shades. So I think the colours just didn't really work for me. I think if you have a certain skin tone, these will work better, because I have heard people love these, and I think maybe if you have a fair skin tone, you're going to get a lot more out of this. You know, you can use everything in here, you can mix and match the shades, you can use them together. I basically have to be very careful where I use the shades in here, and it's the same for me with the other shade. That one is like, I can use one shade out of it, the others are going to leave a cast, they're too dark. I feel like we were missing maybe one in the middle, but regardless, it's just a bit too chunky, a bit too much, a bit too glittery, a bit too heavy. And I was really disappointed, because I really fully expected to love them. I love this packaging. It's stunning. Like one of my favourite packagings from the brand ever. And that's saying a lot. But the product inside, it just didn't work for me and what I like. So that was a sad day, okay? Because that is rare. Charlotte Tilbury, typically, we're like this, okay? She gets me. She is me, we are one, but this slipped through the net somehow. And another mascara that let me down this year, considerably let me down, was the YSL Lash Clash Mascara. This was another one that was full of promise for like full-bodied drama. They also claimed that this was like gave you like incredible drama in just 5 passes of the wand, which I tried to do in my review. And 5 passes gave me absolutely nothing. So that was confusing. And I feel like just, you know, untrue and misleading and just, yeah, not my experience. This was another one where, you know, nothing disastrous or terrible happened. It didn't like smudge all over my face or anything like that. But it just, again, it just gave me nothing. Really no length, really no volume, really no exciting lift or separation. It was just all around disappointing. And again, made some like really dramatic claims that it was going to be this incredible dramatic full fat lash. And it was just like, you know, a damp squid. Thank goodness for MAC Stack this year to save the mascaras, because it was a bad year for mascaras this year, I feel. Is that just me? Okay, so last product from Chanel. I don't think you can really blame me. When you look at what I've included here, I don't think you can blame me, okay, for including any of these products. This was potentially, if I was going to pick something as the worst product of the year, I think I'd say it was this. This is the La Comète blush in the shade Pêche Cosmique. I mean, I don't know how you're getting away with calling that Pêche, because it's essentially chalky white. That's how I would describe it. The star logo that they made like such a fuss about is completely gone. And let me tell you, I have not touched this since the first day I reviewed these blushes. So that lasted like one swatch and one attempt to use this on my cheeks. I don't know what this is supposed to be. They've literally called it a blush, but I cannot believe this is a blush on anybody. No matter how fair you are, I don't think this is going to work as a blush on anybody. It's literally white. It's white. I don't really see anything peachy about it, and it's chalky and it's powdery and dusty and horrid, okay? And I'm so sorry about it, but I have to be honest, and I don't know nicer words to say that would do this justice, you know? Who is that blushing? Who is that blushing? Now, I have seen a couple of people saying to use this as a highlighter. I mean, one, that's actually too light to be a highlighter on me as well, but it's really got very little of any luminosity in there as well. So I don't think that's going to work either. Perhaps on a lighter skin tone it would, but there's nothing redeemable about this, okay? The other shade was like okay, but nothing revolutionary. This one, in the bin with you. I knew this was going to stress me out. The thing is, I don't like to speak badly about products, but once I start, I can't stop myself. It just comes pouring out, you know? Okay, and lastly, but not leastly, let's talk about this Lancôme Teint Idole Ultra Wear Care and Glow Foundation. Now, this one is just not as severe of a fail as the other 9 products in this video. This is like the least hated product of this whole bunch, okay? This just was very disappointing for me because I fully thought this was going to be like holy grail status. That's what I thought. So my expectations versus the reality was like expectations, reality equals devastation, you know? So here's the thing about this. It doesn't glow. Am I the only... It's called the Care and Glow Foundation. There's no glow to speak of. I cannot find it. I've seen none. It is a flat, matte foundation. I feel like I have to use a lot to get like an even coverage, some medium coverage going on. So I don't know what's happening here, okay? It feels quite nice and light on my skin. I feel that it wears nicely and it's fairly flattering. Everything is just okay, but the finish is just not for me. I need glow. I need glow, I need luminosity, I need skin-like, I need life. And this sucks the life right out of me and my face and my skin and takes my joy because there's no glow. And I was promised glow literally in the name. So I feel like suing because I was promised glow and there is no glow to be found. So that's why this is in here. It's not a terrible foundation, and I think if you don't love glowing and being a glowy lady as much as me, you might even really like this. I've seen lots of people like it. I'm just not one of them because it's a liar and a thief of joy. Okay, so there you have it. That is the absolute roasting that I have to give you today for these 10 products. Please, please tell me what your worst products of the year were, your biggest fails, products you hated. I find this so interesting because I know for a fact there will be people in the comment section who've loved every one of these products. That's just how makeup works. It's so subjective. I struggle to believe anyone loved this, not a blush. But other than that, I imagine there'll be people who loved every single one of these products. It's just, we have different skin type, different preferences, different skin tones, and everything works so differently. You know, we're all different, and isn't that wonderful? So that's the story of the day. Live and let live, each to their own, horses for courses, etc. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye 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 bye.